everyone, Helping Heather here. Well, I did 2 shorts about my doctor's visit and pharmacy trip. I want to do a little rant, story time kind of thing here, because I want people to be wise about dealing with the medical system. Okay, my battery's low, just let me pause. Okay. Yeah, so I understand my videos are ones that only a few people watch, which is also fine by me. That's great. I want I want to help people and I want to help myself. And I am motivated by helping others. I've been a chronic self-abandoner and I am recovering from that. I am trying to stand up for myself, advocate for myself, focus in, reclaim, and that looks like taking more time to be in my body, understanding what signals my body's giving. And so I have been trying to do keto again, and because for me that diet has been the best one to give me the most energy, bring my blood sugars under control. I feel it's the way my body needs to eat, but because I have type 2 diabetes, I am trying to get under 20 carbs. And I'm pretty confident that's what I need to do in order to produce ketones or get into nutritional ketosis. And it's always something that becomes a challenge. There's certain roadblocks or things that happen every single time that I end up trying to move more, exercise, change a diet, and so I'm trying to show the very real journey that I have, and it's bumpy and it's rough and it's just how it goes for me. So right now, I run into some roadblocks in trying to do some exercising, and that's where the hernia situation has kind of come up. And typically, I run into a health issue that's not severe, and I'm like, don't really want to go to the doctor for that. Let's see if I can just do it on my own. So how I realized, I've been ignoring these popping outs on either side that happen when I'm sitting in a chair, bending down, I pick up a pen and then pushing to hold something, whatever's in there, trying to pop out. And I'm like, I think that's a hernia, kind of ignoring it over the years. Well, I'm doing the weightlifting that I'm doing, getting into deadlifting. I really like that. I used to work on the ambulance. I used to be an EMT and lifting people and gaining muscle. I really love that. I've always loved helping people move and lifting. I love that. So this is a natural thing. We've designed and put together some equipment that we can do, just a rough gym that is fine for us. And I realized, when I'm trying to do squats, my range of motion isn't that great. I'm very stiff. I work a desk job, and so that tracks. Got a concussion in 2021. So it was in January. It was literally a week or 2 after moving and buying in this house. So I'm pretty intent on not going for walks outside when it's icy. So we have a treadmill. So I'm set up to do all these things. And I'm doing it. I'm getting out there. I'm doing the things. And then as I'm doing yoga to try and correct the stiffness and the range of motion issues, I get the popping out. And I'm like, you can't ignore this anymore, Heather. It's a thing. It's happening. So look into it. So I'm a big, I want to look into what this could be, make the doctor's appointment, but be a bit informed going in there so that I can maybe understand what their approach is going to be, what kind of questions to ask, what's the language, that kind of thing. I do my best with it. My husband helped me to see the value in that and to start doing that kind of thing. And that's part of self-advocacy, I do believe. So don't be, if a doctor or somebody says, don't Google your symptoms. Really? Are you following me through this whole medical piece? Do you know everything that's happened to my body? No, you don't? Okay. Google's what I have, okay? And you should be able to manage my health if I'm Googling and then correct what I'm saying or give me good reason why. So whatever, I don't listen to that, and I'll give them the look if they tell me. Like, all right. So anyway, I have Googled, I have done the work of understanding, okay, these are hernias, and I've had 2 pregnancies with really big babies because of gestational diabetes. Well, wouldn't you know, having big babies will put you more at risk of hernias. Why at 48 years old is this the first time I'm seeing that and being told that and having any information about that? Women's healthcare, I tell you, women's healthcare. So anyway, I'm like, okay, hernias. The other side of things is having indigestion and reflux. You always think, oh, okay, well, I'm eating incorrectly, eating the wrong foods or doing the wrong thing, jostling myself around after eating or laying down after eating or having too much caffeine or different things like that. And I'm like, no, I ate nothing. And I have it. Or I have asthma and I'm noticing when I'm short of breath or have a viral infection and my asthma's acting up, or an allergy and my asthma's acting up and I'm short of breath, I'm getting indigestion. It's not food related. So I'm like, okay, Heather, quit ignoring that. If you say you're not self-abandoning, then you need to look into these things and you need to see a doctor. That's what I'm telling myself. So I'm like, okay, so I start looking into that. Yes, I'm Googling. Yes, I'm finding it out. And don't tell my Gen Z kid I ChatGPT'd it too. And sure enough, positional indigestion, reflux, all that stuff is a hiatal hernia, possibly. And so I have a hoarse voice. If you don't believe me if you don't notice that, I do have a hoarse voice and I've had it for a few days. It's coming on and off for the last few weeks. I'm also getting a bit of like in the ear stuff. So I was like, oh, am I getting this flu that's going around, and a bit of a random runny nose? And I take my allergy pill to ensure I've got that on board, that I can kind of rule out allergies. But I don't have a fever. I don't have aches and pains. I work at a seniors facility in administration, and I decided that I was going to help some of the independent seniors by doing a workout video seated. I mean, there's some standing and other things involved, but it's meant for seniors. I found it, and I'm doing it with them. So I kind of take a little coffee break. I set it up. We do it together. And on Friday, I felt like my abs were kind of sore with it. So I was like, oh, that was a good one. So when I came back Monday and I said to them, what do you guys think? Like, did that hurt your abs? They're like, no, it was fine. Okay, did I just go a little harder? Anyway, so we did our workout routine, and my abdominal muscles were sore. And I'm like, am I getting sick? Is that a sick thing? So I'm looking this up. And, could be not. So I don't know. I don't feel I'm sick. I'm pretty sure, but I'm sure like if I did cause some inflammation from working out and working the abs that are out of shape, they're not used to it, that's also going to be causing some pressure. So I was dealing with indigestion today. And again, this hoarse voice, the ear, the nose. And I decided I'd made a doctor's appointment. So that was for today. So it was a good day to go in and explain what I was feeling and talk to him. And I said, I really think it's a hiatal hernia. I said this on my short, so TMI, if medical things bother you, and descriptions of medical things, because I'm about to. And I might do it the rest of this video, because I am, like I said, a little bit of a rant. Hiatal hernia sounds like a nice little thing, just something compact and understanding. Guess what it is? Your stomach is literally shoved up in your diaphragm. Your diaphragm's a muscle for breathing. And when you get a hiatal hernia, your stomach's popping up through it. Like, what? I'm walking around like this. There's people walking around like this, and it's okay. And we're just like, all right, that's what's happened, right? So, like, looking it up, I understood what was happening, but I immediately blocked it up because I'm like, that's gross. But okay, that could be it because these are symptoms for it. So I'm going to my doctor, and I did the video before going into the doctor of what I suspected and what I was going to talk about. And was telling him about the popping out on either side, doing yoga, bending over, picking up a pen. He says, it's not a usual spot for for hernias. He checked it out. He's like, it doesn't look, he says, sure. I said, well, we have to do an ultrasound to confirm those. I said, sure. I said, I feel like the visceral fat that I have accumulated makes it worse. Years ago when I was doing deadlift, it seemed to happen less after I strengthened everything. So definitely that's going to be one approach. But I wanted to have them have your confirmation that it could be that, and then also get them clocked on an ultrasound if possible. And she says, that's exactly what we're going to do. And I said, okay, before we move on, it's a hernia still, and I think I have a hiatal hernia. Explained the reasons why, and he's like, okay. He says, well, we can't do an ultrasound to see if that's the case. You do a scope. I said, oh, perfect. I've done scopes before. I've had them. I have IBS. I get scopes. And he said, I had one that went down. I hate those ones. And I said, I did that already, like a few years ago. He says, well, let me just see. Oh yeah, you do have a hiatal hernia. You're supposed to be taking whatever medicines. What? Okay. And so I know I said something like this in the short, but I really want to impress upon you, like, okay, that scope going down. When I worked on the ambulance, we worked in a small town. And there's a hospital in this small town, and they would often call us up to help with a cardiac arrest doing CPR, because we did it often on the ambulance. They would call us if they had, a patient that was particularly hard to get an IV start on, because we're doing it in the field with very sick and traumatized people. So we would often be called to the hospital just to assist or to do IVs. And one other thing they would do is if they had to do the scope, they would call us to hold the people down. This is 20 some years ago. I haven't been an EMT for quite a while. And, but that really made an impression. I'm like, I gotta hold this big guy down, this other small wee girl. I gotta hold them down while you do the scope. So I'm going for the scope for the first time. And this is what I'm thinking. So I got the scope, and I didn't sleep that night. I was so worried, thinking I'm going to be fighting and conscious and held down. It was just a bad situation. I hated it. I didn't like doing it there. I did ask, is there other ways to do that? But why I didn't realize we have come a long way medication wise, that there's different meds now and people don't do this anymore. And that's not what happens anymore. So I worried for nothing, and I didn't realize I would worry about that, but I knew I really didn't want that one, but I wanted whatever the issue was, probably this issue, to be solved. And so I remember that. And I remember talking to the specialist after. Oh yeah, everything's fine, unremarkable. For the colonoscopy scope part, there was just like a little polyp. That's it. That's what I remember. My husband's like, yeah, I don't remember them saying anything. We would have known this. I also, to back things up, because I'm dealing with it, I also, not to back things up, but to add, I made an appointment with my doctor to go over the results of all of this, because I'm not a fool. I know this. So I also asked for this or had this happen for a reason. So I am having an appointment, bringing up the issue. Okay, we did these scopes. Anything come back? What's the next step? Kind of thing. Never was told I had a hiatal hernia. Never was told to be on medication for it. Never. I don't even think that I had ever heard of the words hiatal hernia. Being an EMT, you don't learn about medical things that are not life-threatening. Your training is scoped into just what's going to kill you and how to package the person and bring them to the people who can fix them. Keep them alive while doing so. That's it, right? So, yeah, I don't know. That was so he says, yeah, you have a hiatal hernia. That'll do it, right? Okay, well, perfect. So then I go to the pharmacy and get the medication, and I'm going to start it tomorrow because he said, do it in the morning. So didn't want to take it today, even though I'm dealing with it. I'm like, okay, we'll see how this goes. But this is a physical issue, and I'm getting a pill for it. No talk of. So what degree does it have to be? How much stomach is shoved up? How much stomach is going through the diaphragm? Like, when does it get to the place where, oh yeah, we should probably fix this? The diaphragm's a strong muscle. I don't know. that's upsetting to me. So I might make another appointment to go in and talk with him and ask more questions about it. I might research it myself. I might ask to go to a specialist just to have a meeting to discuss it as well. Again, that scope was 3 years ago. Not that I want to go through it again, but has it gotten worse? Like, how do we know? So to me, that's each medical thing I have should be a different weight, a different thing that I am now managing. And that's how I think and feel about it. Doctor should be too. Should have a list of all the things that you're dealing with and checking up on all of them regularly, but they don't. But I now do that for myself. And so another rant is if the doctor sends you for lab work or an x-ray or any other diagnostic imaging, any other specialist, and they say, okay, we'll get the results back. No news is good news. Don't believe it. Absolutely don't believe it. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to take on your health. If you have just one health issue, you're good, right? Listen to what I'm talking about. Diabetes, asthma, allergies, histamine, hiatal hernia, fatty liver, all these things I'm dealing with, perimenopause. Each one is a new thing I have to take on and a weight to have to deal with. I'm lucky I've had some medical training. I can a little bit, but like I said, it's just emergency medicine. It's not, I didn't even know hiatal hernia. Didn't learn anything about perimenopause. Type 2 diabetes, low blood sugar is going to be what kill you. So that's basically what I would be looking for. Like how to manage it. No. And so I'm learning too. And if you don't know something, just ask, but you've got to manage your health. And so how I do that, my approach is to continue. And even I'm not getting the full picture with all the work I'm doing and following up with the doctor. I don't even need to go into the doctor. Sometimes I could just call, did any results come back? And now in Alberta, I've signed up for the My Health thing, and you can go on every result that I get back. I get an email and I can log in and see them. But I think there's a limitation of what the patient can see, and there's more info for the doctor. So even so, I might get results back, but I don't know what the approach is or, how to interpret them really. So I still need to make another doctor's appointment to go in and say, got results back. I did see this. Did you look? What are your thoughts? So that's how we have to manage our health. And don't believe that no news is good news. Don't take that. People die because of that. For women, I'm going for a mammogram tomorrow. I was told I have to do that now every year. So I've already done them before. And also when you get a pap smear, cervical cancer screening. Do you notice you get a letter, women? Do you get, ladies, do you get a letter in the mail? Maybe a month later. I believe they put that up because women were dying because of no news is good news, and they just don't call and tell you. In fact, I met a woman who that happened to in our small town, and she was dying of cervical cancer because she was not called. So they couldn't treat her and fix it in time. They didn't get to her in time. So there's a letter that comes after you have a mammogram and a cervical screening that does tell you what your results are. And then you should follow up with a doctor. But don't count on that letter. Always follow up. Always make a follow-up appointment, phone appointment, or in-person appointment. If you have a job and you need to take your lunch break at an odd time and do a phone appointment to follow up, do it. Do it. In some places, pharmacists can look up your results too. I don't know if that's just the ones that they send out for or not, but you need to take on your health, take on all of that, because people die from believing that no news is good news on the doctors. It's just not true. Another example for me was having shortness of breath for a long time. I just thought I was really out of shape, but it was adult onset asthma. However, I wouldn't know that if I didn't advocate for myself. I probably still wouldn't know today. It would have gone off everybody's radar. I would never have been told. I was dealing with shortness of breath, thought it was allergies, thought it was a virus or something. So, you wait it out. You don't go to the doctor right away. But after a month of hanging on and I'm just not able to get upstairs, without being really out of breath, and then that also causes me indigestion. So I'm just really uncomfortable. I made a doctor's appointment and go. I waited, of course, we wait till we're super uncomfortable instead of going right away. Whatever. So you go, and then, he checks you and stuff like that. And he's like, well, why don't we do and check for asthma, check your lung function with the mobile lung clinic. It comes here in a week. I don't know if he would have seen me if he hadn't known that it was coming like so soon. Maybe not. So I go get all the tests done. And then it's a week. Like they say, okay, we'll contact you with your results. It's a week. It's 2 weeks. I'm dealing with shortness, but I want to know what's going on. And so I make a doctor's appointment. I'll probably have to wait another week or two. And so it's been a month since I did the test with no phone call about it. I go into the doctor and say, hey, so have you got any results back from this mobile test? That's the whole point I made this meeting, only thing. Like, I'm still dealing with the shortness of breath. And he's like, looking at my chart, no, we don't have results back yet. Might take some time. I'm like, this has been a month. This is my breathing. So it's like not accepting that first, okay, well, we'll have to wait again. He's like, okay, well, how about here's the number for the hospital where the mobile lung clinic's written out, or like operate out of. You could call and ask them if they have results. Is that your job or your team's job? Okay, fine. So I took the phone number, said, sure, I'll do that. I go back home. You best know I'm calling them that moment. So I did. I called them that day. I left a message. Nobody answered. And so then I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, now the clock's it's going to be like a week. I'll give them a week. Maybe they don't work all the time, whatever. Give them a week. So, and I've put a note in myself to remember to contact them a week exactly. So a week exactly. I call again. No answer. Leave a second message. I'm going to wait another week or two, right? Like another week, probably 2. No answer. What am I going to do? I can't call them again. They're not answering me. So it might have been 2 weeks. It might have been busy. This is 2 months since mobile lung clinic. And I think I had to wait an exceptionally long time to get into the doctor again because they had no appointments. I think I had to wait a month or 2 more to get into the doctor. So I was like, okay, fine. Like, the shortness of breath is there. It's not acute, obviously. It's tough to wait. I think by the time I went back to the doctor again, it had been 3, 4, maybe 5 months from the time of the test. Never mind the time I started with the symptoms, and so at least 6 months. And this is your breathing. So I go into the doctor. I've waited a long time. So the only reason I made this appointment is because I still haven't got my results from that mobile lung clinic. So he's like, oh yeah, no news is usually good news. I'm like, could you look, please? Could you see? Well, I don't think I have that. And he's doing something on a computer. He says, oh yeah, you have adult onset asthma. You have asthma. It's adult onset though. A what? Okay. No, oh, sorry, we didn't get a hold of you. Sorry, they didn't get, like nothing. No acknowledging the issue. Had I believed the no news is good news. So then he starts me on a couple of puffers and off we go. But I still didn't also get a very good, like my daughter had asthma. My husband's had asthma. I know there's asthma action plans. I know there's a specialist. I know there's you get a peak flow meter. Got none of that. None of that. No help, no thinking through the whole thing on how to manage asthma and teaching me. He didn't know I knew how to do that from my daughter. He didn't know I used to be an EMT. He didn't know I can identify what's life-threatening or not. Just, oh, you have this, here's some puffers, that's it. Yeah, I was disgusted with him, so I didn't actually push for any of that. I didn't like that doctor very much. But when you live in a small town, you get what you're given, right? And you can't. And I knew it was just a matter of time before a new doctor was coming in. And I never pushed the asthma thing, but it's just so disheartening. And it's not even just small town. This is the service we get in Canada anywhere, and probably even worse depending. Some doctors are good and some are not, and some get jaded after a time. They start out good and they don't continue to be good. And the whole system's not set up to help us. Privatization, I don't think, is going to make it any better, really. yeah. Anyway, that's a political point I don't really want to talk about. It's not political to me. It's just whether or not you're going to make something good, better, improve it, and what needs to happen to improve it. And I think it's more nuanced, and I think it's also, like this Connect Care where we have our chart on the file for people to see. It only works just like your task management. Like at work, I have to-do lists, Outlook, meeting invites, I have tasks, I have all these different functions. On our cell phones, you've got all kinds of apps you can use to keep yourself organized. They're only as good as you put the input in and you look at it. Okay, so all my stuff can be on my chart and I'm coming to the doctor. If they're not reviewing it and taking the time to look and see, if they're not making notes for themselves on each patient and making it beep at them before they come for the appointment, like if they're not doing those things for themselves to be organized, it's not going to work. You can give them the system, but if they don't know how to use it or are not organized in their own brains on how to use it. So we have to be for ourselves because we know every nuance, everything about ourselves. And like part and parcel, like I've had 2 gestational diabetes pregnancies. I've had a lot of other medical things, like medium things. I've had Bell's palsy. I've had kidney stones. What else? Surgeries, different things like that, back in my 20s and stuff like that. All that information's gone. That did not follow me when we moved in 2011 from the city to the small town. And I called and said, okay, we need to move our charts over for the new doctor. Oh yeah, we're only going to send the last year or 2. Oh, that's your practice? Yeah, if they need anything else, it's all in archives. So this is before we have Connect Care. So, and I feel like in Connect Care, you still have to dig for the patient information anyway. It might be there, but it's not like organized in a way, but I don't know for sure. I don't know how the providers, see everything, but sometimes it's really good when I'm going in and they're like, oh yeah. And other times it's like, I had that test done. Did you not? Oh, let me look. So we have to manage for ourselves. And I had a friend who was very administrative. And she told me, so she had 4 kids and a husband, and each one of them had a very severe, not medium, severe medical crisis issue at different times. And she said, this is before Connect Care. She said, I had a binder for each one of them. And I paid for every copy of every test result, every image, everything. I paid for a copy. I wrote my notes. Each prescription, I was organized. She did that. So she goes, because I was tired of, you go to the specialist and they never got that lab test, so they couldn't continue on. She's like, here's the lab test. Take a copy. So from hearing from her on that, I realized, yeah, it's my health. It's my health. I need to manage it. So people die from believing no news is good news. So don't believe it. Go and advocate for yourself. Go to the doctor. If you want to take copies, if you don't have My Health, if you're not wanting to get on that trend, you can pay for copies for all of your lab tests. You can ask for that. You can pay for a printout of your chart. There's all kinds of things if you need it. If you're dealing with an actual medical issue, you should have copies of your own health issues, access to that so that you can carry forward and all that. And we're not medically trained, so we just have to be, using our common sense, and that's all we have. But there's still going to be breakdown because you don't know what you don't know in the medical field. You don't know what you don't know. I would never have thought to ask, do I have a hiatal hernia? If you're expecting me, doctors, to ask you a list of, do I have this, do I have this, do I have this, do I have this? I'm not going to do it. I didn't realize I could have the perimenopause could cause my issues with moving me to type 2 diabetes, onset asthma, allergies. I didn't know that. My GP didn't even realize that. So how can I ask? Do I have all of this, right? And then also women. We need to realize that they actually teach and train doctors, not necessarily in schools, but informally amongst themselves, that, oh, you just have a WWW. A whiny white woman, or a whiny woman, just depending. They say that. And they say, yeah, about midlife, they start whining about a bunch of complaints. Well, guess what's happening to us in midlife? Perimenopause. And so our hormones are tanked. Our hormones are going down, and that causes a lot of issues that are really physically present. It is not in our heads. We are not having mental illness. We are not having, any of that. And so our stress cups are already filled just with our bodies having issues. So we can't tolerate more stress. We're dismissed, and that is truly happening to you at the doctors. They're truly looking at you going, oh, shit's here again. And I'm not a fool to think that. I also don't go to the doctor for any old reason. I will go for a reason, and that's it. And I will tell them the reason. I'll say, yeah, I'm here because I want you to look at the results of that. And then tell me what we're doing and make a next plan. The doctor should be telling people, okay, so now you're going to go get that lab test, and then we're going to follow up. Because the lab test is coming for a reason. You've gone for a complaint, right? You're going to the doctor for a complaint. Typically, we don't go when we're healthy and just to say hi to the doctor. You're going there for a reason. And, you might have a yearly checkup that you go to. Most of us forget about doing that. We just don't worry about it. But you're going there for a complaint, and then you're getting a lab test for that complaint to test what's going on. If no news is good news, and they never call you back because the lab test didn't come back with anything, you still have the issue. Unless it just magically disappeared, right? So the doctor should be instructing us, okay, if you haven't heard from me about lab results, make an appointment in a week. Within a week, make another appointment, and then we'll do the next thing we have to do to resolve your issue. Right? They should also be telling you, okay, this isn't an emergency, but this is what it would look like if it got to be an emergency level. You need to go to the hospital if XYZ happens. They don't want us Googling, but they're not giving us the full picture. Anyway, yeah, they're not telling us. And I know this because it's happened to me. I've worked on the ambulance. Like breathing problems, having adult onset asthma, no action plan. No, okay, well, if you get to this point, you should go to Emerge and we need to give you more medicine there. None of that. Just, yeah. Not good. It's disheartening, but getting discouraged. So trying to be physical, understanding these hernias are acting up, trying to have a proper diet, but when your stomach is off and your indigestion, like, okay, try eating fat from keto or protein when you feel full from indigestion because of a hiatal hernia. It's very hard to do that. And then you worry about, well, what if this hernia pops out, it gets worse because I did yoga, lifting, whatever. So then it's like, well, now my brain has a reason to not do those things. And, when you have a stomach upset, like nausea or anything else going on stomach-wise, the last thing you want to eat is fat and protein. Bone broth, that one I can do all the time. It seems that one's very nourishing and feels good. But you really don't want a big bolus of fat and protein when you're not feeling good that way. So these things kind of hijack my progress, and then I would abandon and not tend to them, kind of procrastinate. So I'm proud there's a good win here for me that I'm like, no. Keep pushing ahead, go see the doctor, get a plan. I can still walk. I can still do the seniors exercises I'm doing. I can switch to a different yoga that's not more ab centered, more leg stretching and stuff like that kind of thing. That doesn't cause that. So I'm not letting myself get out of it. Keto, I'm not in the 20 grams, nowhere near it. I'm probably at 50, 60, and could even be at 100 one day, just depending. I was wanting just something easy, simple on my stomach. So that's fine. Gonna start the new medication. And then after that, starts, hopefully it will help feel better, and I'll have more basic baseline as well. I'm packing my lunch and breakfast doing keto tomorrow, but I do have broth and I do have other things like that. And I don't believe that, like shaming yourself and trying to really like, no, you gotta do this. That doesn't help, because I'm trying to build trust and safety within myself. When you self-abandon, you don't listen to your inner self. You don't listen to your body signals. You push against that and you push through and become an overperformer, over functioning, and completely running roughshod over your body. It takes time to build that safety and that trust within yourself. So, and you got to start slowly. You can't make big, grand promises to yourself, because you have to practice. It's like a muscle you train. So I am, yeah. So, going, I'm going to do keto. That was kind of a big thing to say. But then I said, okay, listen, 20 grams of carbs is what I would like to do. I know that's what I need to do to get into nutritional ketosis. And so I was able to start off like that, then had some stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing low carb. We're not going to put extra stuff in there as far as it depends on me, but I'm going to nourish my body into the place that it's at. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to make the doctor's appointments, going to be gentle with myself. So to me, it's a trust building exercise within myself. And so I'm okay with where I'm at right now. And getting some wins. I'm getting some videos out, which is pretty neat. It is helpful for me to do that because I feel like I'm making some progress in that and sharing and holding myself accountable. Yeah. Taking my medication every day. That's another thing. If I back off the metformin that I take, then when I start taking again, it disrupts my stomach. So it's important to me to keep taking it, especially like I might back off those meds with doctor and pharmacy assistance and input. If I really get into the 20 grams or less keto, I really feel like I will be. I'm just on this little bit of a journey. I will be getting into that. So right now I'm doing more low carb. Like I did have a few potatoes at supper, but I had mostly the chicken sausage and some butternut squash. Wasn't feeling super hungry. It was like a smaller meal for me. Club soda and lime juice is one of my favorite drinks. So I've been drinking that. There's no carbs in that. I had a lemon balm tea, because I'm trying to work on sleep and calming down. Sitting up so that I don't get reflux at night, more pillows, things like that. Yeah. So trying to focus on that other stuff, and those are wins for me. So that's good. Well, I'm rambling now. 37 minutes should be good. My rant is just about advocating for yourself. And I'm going to keep pushing that. Don't abandon yourself. Don't dismiss what's going on in your body. If, if something's off, if something's troubling you, if something's preventing you from being able to make progress on your own health journey, go see the doctor about it and research it for yourself. And you don't have to tell them you researched it for yourself, but you can. Be ready for them to say, oh, don't Google your symptoms. And then really ask them all about what they think. What's your diagnosis? What's the plan to fix this? What's the plan to correct it, treat it? Oh, should I Google that then? I don't know. Maybe your doctor's better than mine. I hope so. I mean, my doctor's pretty good today. The new one is good. I am confident that if I would have had the scope done with him, he would have had a robust plan for me. So I'm happy with that. That's good. He's put me on the Jardians, which was a good choice, and it's been helping a lot and not giving me trouble. And he does listen to what my issues are and comes up with a plan. So that's looking up, but previous doctors, not so much. And unfortunately, when you live in a small town, you seem to get doctors and then they move away. And so I think I've had 8. Yeah, 7 or 8, something like that. So I hope you have a good rest of your evening and get a good rest, and remember to take good care of yourself because you're important and you matter. And I hope you have a really great sleep. Take care.